Social media is deceiving you. You guys have to understand is that one of the biggest deceptions of social media, right, is that people are sometimes living a life, they're trying to portray a life that's completely different than what they're living, right? You have to understand, everybody, is that what you see in social media is not oftentimes what's happening in people's personal lives. Because when you go on social media, you see all these different groups, right? All these different people. All these different people that make it look like they're winning. You know, they be taking all these pictures of them on vacation. They be flashing all this money. You know, you got guys who be having all these different Gucci belts and all these expensive items. You got women to where they be going to a club, throwing up drinks in the air, talking about they having ladies' night. You guys have to understand is that social media is not oftentimes what's happening in a person's life. And just so you know, this is not a message of hatred or anything like that. And this is not a message of putting down people. It's just to let you know is do not be deceived by social media. Do not make yourself feel less than. Do not think that you're less than somebody just because you're probably the same age as them or they're younger than you and they got certain things that you have yet to get. Do not fall into that trap, y'all. Do not, because you'll be surprised the amount of people that's on social media to where they're on social media, they're flashing money and all this stuff, but yet they're still behind in their bills, yet they still can't keep up with some of their car notes, with their rent, their mortgage. Some of them be taking pictures in all these expensive cars. You know, some of these men, these women, they be taking pictures in Lamborghinis. They be taking pictures in all these Maseratis, BMW, and Porsches. And a lot of y'all will be surprised to know that a lot of those people don't even own those cars. Some of them are just renting the car for a weekend. Some of them is probably borrowing their friends or their family member's car. And some of them are even taking pictures in front of strangers' cars. Like, imagine you being a stranger, right? You got your nice car parked outside, whether that's like a BMW, a Lexus, whatever expensive car you want to think about. And you go outside and you see someone take a picture in front of your car, trying to make it look like it's theirs. You'd be surprised how many times that's happened. You'd be surprised how many people that have been caught doing that. That's so you have to understand. Do not get caught up in all this social media hype. Do not get caught up on all of it, because a lot of it is false. It's deceiving. Do not let the enemy use social media against your mind, because one of the main tricks that Satan uses is your mind. That's one of the main things that Satan does. He attacks your mind, because if Satan could get inside your head, he can then control you even more. Because before you do something, before you do any action, it starts in your mind. It starts in your heart. So if a person's mind can be controlled, that's going to control their actions as well. They'll follow us after. And one of the main tricks that Satan uses, one of the main temptations that Satan uses is social media. And don't get me wrong, y'all, ain't nothing wrong with social media. You know, there's good and bad to a lot of things in life. There's a good side to social media and there's a bad side. But what the enemy does is he uses certain things in social media, like people flexing with their money in their hand. You know, people taking pictures for expensive cars. People going on vacation every few months. You know, you can see people, they be going to all these different countries, you know, outside the U.S. They be going to all these different states. And you, to an average person who be looking on, they be like, wow, that person really living their life. And that's how Satan tries to bring jealousy and envy and hatred inside of you. Because Satan, he's trying to get inside your mind. Because Satan can get inside your mind, that's how all these different spirits could come in. Spirits like unforgiveness, jealousy, envy. Satan will use this trick against you so much to the point that if you got a successful friend who's taking pictures of them on vacation, got a nice car, got a nice house, and they taking pictures, you know, they happy in life, Satan will try to use that stuff against you to the point that you might become so jealous to your own friend that you even know what you would do. Listen, y'all, there's people to where they've taken their own friends out. They've taken their own family members out of jealousy. Because the spirit of jealousy, the spirit of envy got in them. You know, Satan, he deceived them. He got in that person's mind to hate on their next friend, to hate on their family member. Because they got a nice house, because they got a nice car and all this stuff. And that's why Satan loves social media. Because social media has claimed some people's lives, y'all. Like, people have really lost their lives being jealous on social media. A man could see a woman doing good in life and he's jealous of her. A woman could see a man doing good in life and she's jealous of him. Or even the same gender. A man could see another guy in his city. You know, he got all this money. He got a nice wife. He got a nice house. And that's how it's led to people getting confrontations in real life. You know, this stuff is not a joke. So for y'all who see all this stuff in social media, don't get caught up in all of that. because a lot of times it's fake. And then not only that, yo, but you have to understand is you gotta be focused on what God got for you. That's what it's about in this life. Stop paying attention to what people are doing, because this is something that a lot of people, they just can't just focus on themselves. They be looking at that person, man, that person got a nice house, man, that person got a nice car. Instead of you being jealous or envious, instead of you just sitting there pondering, go do something about it. If you want to have the nice house, if you want to have the nice car, look for ways to help increase your social status in life. Find ways to make more money. The legal way. Okay? We talk about legal way. We're not talking about illegal activity. Go get another job. Go start a business. You can be just as successful as that person you're looking at. Even more. You can even be more successful than them. But you sitting there just looking at them and just pondering about how they did this and did that, it's not helping you in any way at all. It's not benefiting your life. It's not. Listen, we understand that this life that we're in, for us who are real followers of Christ, the Bible says, do not store up our earthly treasures and all that. We understand that. We understand that this life is just temporary. All the houses and cars and all the money is just temporary, because you can't take it to the grave with you. You can't take it to eternity with you. So we understand that. But understand that in this life we do need blessings. And it could be understandable to a point that you do want to win as a person. And when you see everybody else around you winning, for some people, it could make them feel down, like, wow, how come I didn't get this far in life? But you ain't gotta feel down. You're still breathing. You're still alive. You can still do something great with your life. You can still do great things. Don't get caught on social media, because you'd be surprised to know that even some of the most successful people don't even be posting on social media like that. You got some of these rappers, some of these celebrities, and all these entertainers that be posting all this money online and all this stuff that they doing, flashing all this money, but half the time they can't keep their money. Some of them go broke in a couple years. You see what I'm saying? You guys cannot pay attention to the hype of social media, because you have a lot of people to where they live in a life that's not really theirs. They're lying. And then you got the people to where they are successful, but then even the ones who are successful, once again, you don't have to feel any type of way. You can become successful, just as successful as them. Remember, if you're a follower of Christ, if you're a servant of God, you have God who's directing your path. You don't have to look at a person who might be in the world, or even if a person is a Christian. Understand this, is that what God got for you is for you. You just got to make sure you put yourself and you align yourself in the right position. And you do the work as well, because as the Bible says, faith without works is dead. We're not just going to sit here and just say, oh, God's going to do everything. God does his part, you do your part. But understand this, y'all. You can be just as successful. Those people you see on social media with all these 6, 7, 8-figure businesses, they got the nice clothes, the nice house. You can do the same thing. You don't have to be jealous. You don't have to hate. You don't have to be envious. You don't have to be like some people to where they want to go take someone else out just because, oh, I'm mad because that person's doing this and that I'm not. No, you ain't got to be like that. You can be great in life. Just focus on what God's doing in your life and focus on where you're going. And look for ways to improve yourself as a person. Because understand this, even for successful people on social media, they didn't start off at the top. Many of them start at the bottom. But they work themselves to the top. You got to work yourself to the top. Once again, find ways to make money, get another job, start a business. I said this in many different ideas, in many different videos. God has given many of you guys great ideas that could build wealth, that could take you to the next level, that could make you a generation curse breaker in your family. But you guys can't just sit there and ponder. You guys gotta rise. Rise. Because faith without works is dead. I'm gonna say again, faith without works is dead. Well, you can't just sit there and just say, man, I'm mad that so-and-so got this. Man, why can't God? No. God has already equipped many of you guys with the tools. He's already given many of you guys the ideas. It's just your time to plant the idea and put it into action. Remember, God, people be talking about they waiting on God. Listen, God waiting on you a lot of times. Many of them successful people you see on social media, they had to work themselves to the top. Many of them were not born with a silver spoon in their mouth. So you got to work your way to the top. But once again, y'all, don't get caught in the hype of social media. Because the main point is that in the end, all the likes, all the subscribers, all the followers you have, right? In front of God, that stuff mean nothing. In front of God, that stuff mean nothing. I know we all want to be blessed, but at the end of the day, this stuff is all materialistic. This stuff is all temporary. Well, this is not all materialistic, but this stuff is all temporary. So, understand is that this life they're in is temporary, so you don't have to have the spirit of jealousy or hate or unforgiveness just because another person might be financially up there and you might not be at that level yet. Because God can take you to great places, you can strive to be great, and most important of all, in the end, none of the stuff matters. Because on Judgment Day, God's not going to judge you based on your house, your car, where you live, He's not going to judge you how much money you had, none of that. God's going to judge your relationship with Him, how you lived your life, and what you did for His kingdom. So understand this, y'all. You don't have to walk around angry. Because we see these times that we're in. The coming of the Lord is very near. So we just got to make sure we're taking care of business. Make sure we put ourselves in the right position to receive our God-ordained blessings and keep working. Because this social media stuff, people think in the wrong direction. They'll have people mind gone. You'll be see a person on social media, right? And you'll be thinking that, oh, this person doing this and that. I'm not. No, you don't have to look at them. You don't have to compare yourself. Do not be in competition with nobody. Never look at a person and say, man, I wish I could just do so and so. Never be in competition. Only person you should ever even think about comparing yourself to is yourself. Because understand this, y'all. You should be striving to make yourself better as a person because you want to. Not to be into competition. Not to keep up with social media. It naturally make yourself better as a person. So stop comparing themselves to people on social media. Regardless if their life they're living is fake or not. Stop comparing them. Do not get caught up in the hype. Be focused on God and be focused where God's taking you. Because that's very important. That's the most important thing in your life. Okay, you don't want to miss your God-ordained blessings. You don't want to have the spirit of jealousy or envy come upon you. Stay focused on God and stay focused on His will. And build and work yourself up. And you'll be surprised how much greatness can happen in your life.